This piece of black walnut had been sitting in a barn for over half a decade, and I turned it into this. And here's how I did it. I started by sanding all of the edges with 80 grit sandpaper using my orbital sander just to kind of let it take shape and see what I was dealing with. Because this was an air-dried piece of wood, there was quite a bit of rot on the ends and there were bug holes in a lot of places, so I cut quite a bit off the ends. I was actually hoping these shelves would turn out a little bit longer than what I had to cut them down to, but it's okay, it all worked out in the end. I was able to use my compound miter saw for all of the cuts, which was really nice, but I did have to be kind of strategic on how I made my cuts because this girl was thick. But once again, this saw stand came in clutch, and those extendable arms helped hold the ends of the wood, which was basically like having a second person there. And just when I thought these cuts were going to be finished flawlessly, I ended up getting the saw stuck in the wood, which I did manage to get out pretty quickly without bending the saw or ruining the wood too badly. Once I cut the length, I decided which side I wanted to go against the wall, and I cut that off so it would be flush against the wall when we mounted it. This is what it looked like when I finished cutting it, and here's the bracket that I plan to use to mount it to the wall, which I quickly realized I don't have the correct tools to do this properly, so I called a really good friend of mine who is so wise and has a way cooler wood shop than me. And after quite a few hours of precise planning and measuring, we made a jig and were able to inset the back of the wood so the bracket would fit in perfectly. And then I hand sanded every single side of this from 80 grit all the way up to 1000 grit, which I'm not going to bore you with those details, plus I forgot to video that. Then I wiped all the dust off and put some teak oil on to polish the wood, and y'all, it turned out beautiful. One of my mottos in life is create as many little special corners as you can to make your home feel warm and cozy, but most importantly, just to bring you joy. And that's exactly what this corner does for me.